Greetings folks, and in the words of Nux, I hope your figures are all shiny and chrome wherever you are in collecting land. And as always, welcome back to the channel for something a little bit special, and probably a record for the largest unboxing and review we've ever attempted on the channel. I've got to say, I am more than a little excited, which is no mean feat at my age, I might add. So today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Hot Toys 1/6 scale 89 Batmobile, the 2.0 version. Well, is it a 2.0 version or is it just a reissue? Well, I guess we're going to find out. But before we even attempt to tackle this enormous box, yes, you've guessed it, shout out some background. Firstly, a big up to everyone who's subscribed to and supported the channel. And please drop a like on this review and help other people find the channel. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you don't miss any of the 6 scale shenanigans coming up on the channel. But today's biggest shout out has to go to none other than Mrs. Go Figure. Explanation. So my birthday is at the beginning of November, and she surprised me with this early birthday gift. I've always sort of harboured a desire to own the 66 and the 89 Batmobile, but never thought it would happen, simply because of the cost, but not only that, the amount of real estate you need to properly display a beast like this as well. But Mrs. Go Figure came through with possibly the best birthday gift a fella could receive. I've also got to say a huge thank you to her as well for tolerating my collecting obsession and putting up with me shooting endless YouTube content at silly o'clock in the morning, and also for putting up with a house that looks like an Amazon depot most of the time, and figures and statues and collectibles pretty much everywhere. I consider myself to be the luckiest bloke on the planet to have someone in my life who's not only supports my collecting but shares my passion for all things 1/6 scale. Well, maybe doesn't quite share it as passionately as I do, but yeah, I've just got to say, love you, babe, and I couldn't do it without you. But that's enough of my addiction support network. The review will take a slightly different format than usual. We'll have a quick look at this monstrous box, and then it'll be out with the automotive icon itself for a close-up look, but there'll be no showcase at the end. No showcase at the end, Mr. Go Figure? How so? I hear you collectively cry. Well, the runtime of this video, if I put a showcase on the end, would grow to Schneider-esque proportions. So to do this monster justice, I will be shooting a separate showcase video, which will be going up tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. So, box. Well, there's no art box with this particular piece. The shipper itself actually acts as the art box. What you've got on the front there is obviously image of the Batmobile. As you can see, there's the bat symbol in the corner there. It says Batmobile on the top and another bat symbol on there. I'm not going to try and manhandle this box into shot. Literally, I would break my back, but you've got the usual warnings and stuff around the back there and all the bits and pieces on the side. So yeah, the packaging itself is not dissimilar to those who've received statues from companies like Blitzway and so on. Inside the box is polystyrene with straps on it. We'll have a quick look inside actually. We'll go handheld here and we'll just take a quick look inside this box, because when you open it up, and I've just opened it up off camera literally 2 minutes before taking this shot, what you are greeted with is probably one of the largest slip cover dust covers that I've ever seen on any piece. It's absolutely huge. And let's just open this up so you can get a closer look at this, and it's a shot of the Batmobile, as you can see. Really, really nicely done. Lift this thing off, and underneath, as I mentioned before, there's the polystyrene, the strapping and all the bits and pieces. So without further ado, let's get this guy unboxed. We'll do that off camera, because I think the last thing you want to see is an old man mucking around with a toy car and polystyrene. So yeah, over to the table and let's have a look at what this thing's all about. So here it is, the 89 Batmobile, out of the box, onto the stand, and onto the table, and pretty much taking up all of the table here. This thing is absolutely enormous. But before we dive into it, let's talk about the big Jazz Inc. shaped elephant in the room before we get up close with this thing, and then speak no more of it. This is not a comparison video. I don't own the Jazz Inc. version, probably never will. Is the Jazz Inc. version an amazing piece? Yes, it is. Is the Jazz Inc. version more screen accurate? Yes, it is. Is the scaling better on the Jazz Inc. version? Yes. Is the sculpt, build and paint application better? Yes. Is the wait time for the Jazz Inc. version longer than the directors could have Dawn of Justice? Yes, it is. Is the Jazz Inc. version more than twice the price of the Hot Toys version? Yes. You can see what I'm doing here. So if you're picking up either piece, it's all about personal taste and budget, and of course patience. But this is a review of the Hot Toys 89 Batmobile, so let us speak of Jazz Inc. no more. Well, it might creep in a little bit at the end there, but moving swiftly on. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this section down into two distinct pieces. We're going to have a quick look at it here with the accessories, and then simply because of the sheer size of this thing, we'll do a handheld tour and go around it so we can get an idea of all the details from all the angles. So where to start? Well, yeah, I mean, as you can see, this thing has it's got a lot of movement in here because of this stand at the bottom, which we'll talk about shortly. But because of the amount of space available, we're going to need to go handheld to really capture those fine details. While we're on the subject of the stand, one of the accessories, and not that impressed, I've got to admit, with this. What you've got with the stand, I'm not going to take it off the stand at the moment, simply because it's such an absolute nightmare getting it on there in the first place. But what you've got is a circular piece of plastic, and then another tubular piece of plastic which sits inside it, and then they slot into a section at the bottom of the Batmobile. Now, the tubular part is really only held in place by friction and weight, and it does not feel particularly stable. As you can see here, there's a rocking going on, which is quite profound, and even the slightest movement one way or the other, and this thing's going to tip over, and that's the last thing you want with something like this. It just feels inherently unstable on that stand, and it worries me. So yeah, that's a niggle, but we'll come to the other niggles shortly. But yeah, let's take a look at the bits and pieces that come with it. First, and probably the most important bit that comes with this is the magnet for removing the magnetic pieces of the bodywork and stuff. You have to bear with me here. The lighting's been altered slightly so that the lighting's focusing on the vehicle. So unlike the normal reviews where we have the lighting pointed inwards so you can see the accessories in a little bit more detail, they're sort of off somewhere in the midsection here. So I will try and get them in the in shot and as well lit as possible. So yeah, this little tool is designed for removing the sections that are magnetized. There's a couple on the side here. This one at the bottom, simply grab it with the magnet, take it off. As you can see, there are magnets on the bottom there, and it is designed for the shim breakers. Now, I will bring one of the shim breakers in. This is the right one, and they slot into the hole that cover leaves. Now, I've got to say at this point, I don't think this particular piece has actually been painted. I don't think the black sections have been painted, unless I'm very much mistaken. What Hot Toys have done here have used a specific type of plastic that emulates that sort of, how can I describe it? That matte shine, is that an expression? How can you have a matte shine? Well, that sort of shiny matte effect of the paint that was on the original Batmobile. So rather than go for a paint job, I think they've just chosen this particular type of plastic. But if I'm wrong, correct me in the comment section below, please do. So yeah, once you've removed that magnetic section, all you need to do is slot in the shim breaker, and it stays in place like that. And it adds even more width to the vehicle. To be honest with you, I won't be using these in the display. I have got a display case that's coming that's specifically designed for this, but not designed for these. And herein lies the first niggle. This side of the Batmobile works just fine. Once you take it off, you simply pop that cover back on. Unfortunately, when I attach the cover to the right-hand side of the vehicle, it went on, and it won't come off. It absolutely won't come off. The magnet won't work. I am not going to attempt to get something in the gap there to try and prise it out, because I don't want to damage the chip or scratch the surrounding area. But yeah, niggle number two there is the magnets on the left-hand side. I'll say working fine on this side, but above that section there for the shim breaker, you've got this section which opens up in exactly the same way, and that is designed to hold these. Now you get 8 of these in total. These bat discs, just sculpted plastic with a silver bat symbol in the center there, and they simply slot into the appropriate hole there, and then you can take your magnet and close the whole thing off. You can put as many or as few in there, or as few as you want. So yeah, that's the bat disc holder. Take that back out again and close it up. You can use your finger to close it up. You don't need to use the magnet. What else have we got on the side of this thing? Oh yeah, while we're on the subject of the magnet, we'll take a closer look at these actually when we go handheld and go around the vehicle. But you can also use this to remove the covers for the gun turrets, which are underneath there. But as I say, we'll have a close-up look at those when we have a tour around the thing. What else do you get? There is the grapple hook. Now, there's two of these designed to help this rather large wheelbase vehicle get round corners without going all Tokyo Drift. And I think these are metal. Now they fold out. It's on what I think is a plastic sort of stem, and I think these are actually metal. Yeah, they feel cold to the touch, so they're metal. So if you're wanting to put these on the vehicle, there is a little section here that folds down, and you just fold that down and then carefully take your grapple hook and insert it in the hole, he said, like that, and there you go. You've got grapple hooks, and you can have them on either side of the vehicle. So yeah, nice touch there from Hot Toys. I'll take that out, close that up. What else? That is pretty much it. It's pretty spartan on accessories, but you know that pretty much covers everything. So what we will do next is we will go handheld and we'll go on the tour. We'll look at the light up features, we'll look at the canopy, and all the other bits and pieces. So cut to handheld. Okay, so here we are down in front of the details for a close-up look at the 89 Batmobile. Lighting's better down here as well, so we can take a look at those details up close. But before we dive into it, forgot to mention in the previous section, you do get a set of instructions with this particular piece. And I have to say, they have got to be the biggest instructions I have ever seen, ever. And what you get is this poster-size picture of the Batmobile with all the accessories attached to it. Batman logo at the top, says Batmobile at the bottom, and on the reverse of this thing are the instructions, and it pretty much covers everything from inserting the batteries to operating the machine guns and canopy, the stand. Everything you need to know is on the back of this huge set of instructions, and I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that as a set of instructions, but there you go, is what it is. Wanting to turn that into a poster, hang it on your wall, you can do. So that's the oversized instructions out the way. Let's have a wander around this huge piece. So we will start at the front of this vehicle, and I'll just mention as well, actually, we're getting up close at this actually while we're handheld. That's the stand I was talking about previously, and not the most stable thing. I've got it on a glass table here, and when I revolve this thing, the whole thing just wants to move on the table rather than rotating. But yeah, not the most, doesn't inspire me with confidence, as I said before. But yeah, that's the stand, all plastic, painted silver. But yeah, we will start with these tyres. Now, these tyres are all rubber, full rubber. They've got some real heft to them. The eagle-eyed amongst you will notice there's actually the plastic cover's still on there, and it's the same case with the canopy. That's how it came out the box. I am leaving these plastic covers on for the time being, simply because this thing's going back in the box as I am after this review, as I'm waiting for, as I mentioned before, waiting for a display case that's specifically designed for this piece. So yeah, just to avoid damage, they're going to stay on for the time being. But yeah, really nicely done. Solid and heavy chunky tires, and as you can see, they're on an axle, so you've got plenty of movement in there. Well, I actually prefer the look of the tires slightly off at an angle rather than flush to the vehicle, but you know, you can have it wherever you want it. You've got that bat symbol in the center there, that silver bat symbol. There's paint applications on the inside there to give it a little bit of weathering on the inside of the wheel itself. We will very, very carefully rotate this round. It gives me nightmares already, and I've only just got it out the box. But yeah, and we'll take a look at the front end of this beast. So yeah, straight away, you've got those Honda Accord headlights there, those upside down Honda Accord painted yellow headlights. They do light up, and we'll take a look at that when we look at the light up features. You've got that engine intake there, that massive engine intake. If you're spotting any white flecks on here, chances are that will be polystyrene from the packaging, but already it's attracting hairs, and this thing is a fingerprint magnet. It really is, and unfortunately it's that it's that type of plastic, and I don't know whether the light's catching it here because I've touched it at the front here. But it's that kind of plastic that actually attracts grease, if that makes any sense. So you will leave grease on here, and I've already had to clean it once. Just used a soft cloth and some tepid water, and that seems to have done the trick. But yeah, that front end looks really, really nice. Moving across the bonnet here, you've got those vents on either side of the engine, on the top of the hood itself. Moving back, we get to the gun turrets. Now, I will turn this again, but I'm going to turn this very carefully. I need to keep an eye on the base when I'm turning this, just to make sure that it's not moving. But yeah, you come to the gun turrets, and we will grab the magnet and just remove one of these so you can see inside. So yeah, carefully take that off. And inside you are greeted with the full gun turret itself. That is really, really nicely done. Now you can lift this thing out, but unfortunately, and I noticed this because we're on the second take here of this this particular walk round, this thing really doesn't want to stay up. Now, you're supposed to just be able to pull it up and it will stay in position, but as you can see, it doesn't want to. It just wants to fall back down. Now, I thought there may be a locking mechanism in here, but really it's, yeah, I think it's just friction that's supposed to hold it in place. I mean, the actual detailing on here is really, really nice. There are silver paint applications on there. As you can see, this cocking action actually works. There's a belt feed there, and the bullets are nicely painted. But the main issue I'm having here is just getting this thing to stand up. It does not want to stay up. It just keeps dropping back down into the hole. Once you've got it out, you can angle it up like that. It'll go up to about 30 degrees. But yeah, it's holding there now. I think if you futz around with it, it will stay in place. But on the whole, it just wants to keep dropping back down, which is another minor niggle, shall we say. That'll be taken into account when we go in for final thoughts. But yeah, we'll pop that back in there, and reattaching this is relatively simple. The cover for it, you just pop it back on and the magnets will hold it in place. So yeah, that's the gun turrets. Moving up to the we'll actually take a look down the sides here. We'll run down the sides and take a close look at the details here. We've already covered those two magnetic sections there. Let's take a look at the this engine detailing on the side. Now, paint applications are nice. The sculpt is on point. There's some heat weathering there on this exhaust system. Bear with me if I'm sounding croaky, but I'm having to bend right down here. And you've got this huge air intake on the side here, which is nicely done. Then you've got the vents on the sides, which are there's actually metal grills underneath there. Moving up to the fuel cap. Now, it's a functioning fuel cap. You just lift that up, and you've got detail cap underneath there. We will take a look at this canopy next before we swing round the back. Now, yeah, plastic's still on there, so you've got to imagine that what that looks like without it on. In actual fact, let's throw caution to the wind and take it off. I'm feeling bold. Yeah, let's remove that. There's something really satisfying about taking that plastic off. So you can see the super high gloss finish there of the windshield. Now this obviously you've got the grills across the front there as well, and there's that line down the front there, which is how the canopy slides forward. We will attempt to do this on camera, and this is not the easiest thing in the world. You've got to get your finger under there, lift it up, and there's no real gap, so getting your finger under there can be a bit problematic, and then you slide the whole thing forward. And what you're greeted with is the internal passenger compartment and driver's compartment, the cockpit there. I will swing this round again, and forgive the wobbly camera work if I keep if I keep going moving. Is because I'm wanting to make sure that it doesn't have any problems on this stand. It's actually easier to get my hand underneath it and turn it at the bottom than it is to actually turn the vehicle itself. But yeah, let's see if we can't get a little bit more light inside this cockpit as well. I'm just going to grab this light here and hold it over. So yeah, inside some really, really nice details there. You can see the gear lever, which is individually painted. There's a control panel at the back. I'm going to try and get right inside here Yeah, control panel at the back there, full dashboard, steering wheel. Steering wheel doesn't work, unfortunately, doesn't move, but that dash lights up, and we'll take a look at that when we look at the light up features. But yeah, the inside is really nice, really well done, very detailed, and just on point. We'll pop that light back down and work our way further back down. So coming back down, you've got these huge flared wheel arches, obviously, which is in keeping, and then the fins on the back, all done in this plastic, this same plastic, which I think, as I mentioned before, is it's actually the type of plastic rather than the paint here that we're looking at. But please do correct me in that comment section if I'm getting this wrong. We'll swing it around the back, and I'm going to keep my hand underneath here while I'm turning this to prevent any incidents or accidents, shall we say. Let's take a look around the back here. This is, I think, that is a fantastic view at the back there with that, with those sort of those fins flaring off there. I think they look phenomenal. But down here you've got the exhausts. You've got the two exhausts either side with the silver ends there, which is great. And then you've got the main engine itself, this huge engine, which once again will light up. But we'll take a look at that when we switch the light up features on. And it's got there's some sort of brown paint applications on here. This is definitely, I think, been painted here to look weathered, to look as though it's got sort of scorched from the heat of the flame coming out the back. But yeah, rear tail lights, they function as well. Once again, we will have a look at those. Let's take a look at these light up features. Now, to access the light up features, you need to get inside this section at the back here, where these vents are. Now, this is it's quite stiff, this, and difficult to get off. I've left it on partially simply because I don't want to rock it while it's on this stand at this angle. Whoa, which I nearly did there, nearly went. Let's just lift this section off. Nearly dropped it, but caught it with my feet. That's a special trick I've learned there, the foot catch. But yeah, inside you're greeted with the battery compartment. It is 3 AA batteries, and there's an on-off switch. So we will find that on-off switch, which is there, and we'll take a look at the light up features. You've got to remember as well, we have got some bright lights on here to highlight the details. So these lights might look a little bit dim, but yeah, they're still quite bright considering. So those red tail lights are really very bright considering the amount of light that they've got pouring down on them. So yeah, 2 red tail lights there, and then inside you've got that yellow effect to sort of replicate the flame of the jet engine itself. So yeah, that's very nicely done. Could be a little bit brighter in there, but as I said, this light's probably not helping. We will quickly go back to the canopy and inside and take a look inside the cockpit. And see if we can't get the camera in as much as possible here so you can get a view of that cockpit. Yeah, you've got red and green lights going on there all over the place. I believe some at the back here light up as well. Oh no, they don't. No, it's just the ones at the front. But yeah, you've got a mixture of red, orange and green LEDs going on in there. And if I can get the camera to go right round that side, there's even some around the other side of the center of the console as well. The whole thing is lit up all the way around. So yeah, nice detailing, nice lights. Let's take a look at how the front works with those lights on. Once again, I am going to be super careful here. And I've got to say, this is definitely one of my gripes, this stand. I will not be using this stand. But we'll swing it back round super carefully and take a look at these headlights at the front and go in for final thoughts on this guy. See how bright they are. Oh yeah, they're pretty bright considering the amount of natural light that's, well, artificial light that's that we've got on it at the moment, so we can see the details. And while we're here, have a quick look underneath, because there is some details underneath there as well. If I can get the camera to focus, they've actually sculpted some details underneath the car as well. So yeah, there you have it. That is the '89 Batmobile, courtesy of Hot Toys. So let's go in for final thoughts on this guy. Right, I'll catch my breath there because that wasn't the easiest thing in the world to do. Let's just... this canopy as well, I didn't mention that at the top. This canopy can be problematic. As you can hear, it's squeaky there. It can be squeaky, and it sometimes doesn't want to slide forwards and backwards. I would say careful if you're picking this piece up. Don't force it. Be super gentle with it. But yeah, there you have it. The Hot Toys 89 Batmobile. So, final thoughts. Well, where to begin on this piece? I think it's imposing. I think it looks fantastic. I think the screen accuracy's there. We're not going to mention Jazz Inc. just yet, but inevitably we will come to that. In fact, no, we'll mention it now. Yes, it's a bit like comparing a Porsche to a Formula One car. Both are very, very good. Both do the same job. One just does it slightly better than the other. Yeah, it all depends on what you want to get out of the piece, what your budget is, and everything else. But I think this, on its own, I think it's a fantastic piece of work from Hot Toys. I really do. I think it captures the spirit and the aesthetic of the 89 Batmobile perfectly. I think it pairs up with the Joker and Batman figures really, really well. And I just think it's a fantastic piece. It's not without its niggles. There's more than a few niggles. There's that left-hand cover that right-hand cover that we talked about in the accessories section that absolutely does not want to come off, where the shin breaker goes, and that's a shame. I don't know how I'm going to fix that problem, so yeah, I'm going to have to mark it down for that. This canopy, really, it feels mass-produced, and this is a mass-produced piece at the end of the day. It's not a handmade, bespoke piece a la Jazz Inc. So, you know, it's... There's going to be some. You've got to give it some leeway because of that. But yeah, canopy doesn't feel the most secure in the world. The first time I actually moved this, it came off the runner there, and then did not want to fit back flush, and it doesn't fit entirely flush. You can see there's a gap there. So yeah, it's going to get points off for the canopy. Those machine gun turrets, unfortunately, just don't want to stay up. Gravity takes over, so it doesn't even feel like there's a locking mechanism in there. It just feels like, you know, you pull it up and pray, which is not good. So there's that. What else? Really, that's my only major gripes of the canopy, that magnetic section, and those gun turrets. I think the light up features are fantastic. I think, yeah, the avoiding paint, which I think they have done quite cleverly by the type of plastic they've used here, doesn't really detract from the piece itself. I think overall, I think they've done a really good job at replicating the 89 Batmobile. So there you have it. Final score. This is a tough one here because it's really difficult not to be influenced by all the stuff on social media, all the reviews, all the ravings over the Jazz Inc. version. But as I said at the top there, I am judging this piece as it stands. And as it stands on its own, I think this is a very good 89 Batmobile. And I think if you're a fan of the 89 movie, if you're a fan of Batman, having this in your collection would be absolutely fantastic, and I think you'd be more than happy with it. So a score out of 10. I'm going to have to take those niggles into consideration. I think they're born out of it being mass-produced, as I say. But taking those issues into account, I'm going to give this an 8.5. An 8.5 on a good day, 8 on a bad day. I think it is... It's a fantastic piece. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm really pleased to have it in the collection. I think it's going to make for a fantastic display. But it's got some niggles, and it's got some niggles that can't be ignored. As I say, if you're wanting incredible screen accuracy and you have a bottomless wallet, then maybe Jazz Inc. is a direction for you to go in. But for me, this'll do fine, thank you very much. So there you have it. That is, let's go with 8.5. No, let's go with 8. Oh, I don't know. Is it a good day or a bad day? I don't know. Somewhere between 8 and 8.5. But yeah, there you have it. That is the Hot Toys '89 Batmobile. So, what are your thoughts on this piece? Do you have the original? Do you have this version 2.0? Well, I don't think it really is a 2.0. I mean, I don't own the original, and it's probably fair to note before we wrap this up that I think this is probably more a reissue, but I've never owned the first one, so I couldn't really say. But judging by what I've seen other reviewers say and what I've seen on social media, this is pretty much a reissue, I think. But, you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Some people might say it's broken, but not me. I think it's a damn fine Batmobile. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this? Do you have the original? Do you have this version? Do you have the Jazz Inc. version? What are your thoughts on the '89 Batman movie? Pop a comment in the comment section below. Nothing is off menu, so feel free, jump in. And I suppose all it remains for me to say is a massive thank you for watching. What have we got coming up on the channel? Well, I'm not going to list everything, but we have, we've got Hot Toys, Present Toys, Susu Toys, all in the 1/6 scale world. We've got in art figures, caustic plastic figures coming up. I'm not going to list each one, as I say, because we'll be here all night. But a raft of quarter scale stuff coming in as well. We've got statues and action figures as well. There will be more of Don't Make Me Choose, the occasional series where I torture myself for your pleasure by putting two of my favourite figures into the ring together, let them duke it out, and then find out who wins, who loses, and the loser has to leave, unfortunately. But yeah, there'll be plenty more of those as well, so stay tuned for that. And obviously, stay tuned for the showcase of this piece, which will be coming up tomorrow as well. So all that remains for me to say is a massive thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves, and from me and the '89 Batmobile, it's happy collecting and over to the showcase. Okay folks, so a bit of an update before we wrap this whole thing up. Unfortunately, we won't be having a showcase for this particular piece on Saturday, and there is a good reason for that. Due to space issues, due to lighting issues, camera potential, all this kind of thing. The showcase really wouldn't do this piece justice, and it's something I wouldn't be happy to put up on the channel. So what we're going to do instead is hang fire, wait for the display case to turn up for this piece, and then we will do a showcase so we can see this thing to its full potential. But what we will be having in its place on Saturday is a 1/6 scale figure review of a Grail piece that I have been after for years and years and years, but I'm not going to give too much away about that right now, so tune in on Saturday for that. So all that remains for me to say, for the second time of asking, is thank you for watching, take care of yourselves, and happy collecting. See you next time on the channel.